Okay. Welcome to Quiet, a book about the power of introverts in a world that can't stop talking, by Susan Cain. Alright, so apparently, okay, first of all, a little background here. Susan Cain is a person, this particular woman here, she's currently 50-something years old, and she is the co-founder of Quiet Revolution, a company dedicated to unlocking the power of introverts. And the website for Quiet Revolution is quietrev.com, and I'll figure it out myself. Alright, let's get this started. So today we're actually going to be discussing this book, and today I'm just going to take like 6 to 10 minutes, like 6 to 10 minutes. I'm going to try to go for 6 minutes, talking about the part 1 on this book, the extrovert ideal, about how our society seems to think extroverts are the best thing ever. I'll recreate a little Stephen Hess skit just for this purpose. Let's get to start with. First off, here we go. Part 1, the extrovert ideal. Now this here is actually split into 3 parts. The rise of mighty likable fellow, like how extroversion became the cultural ideal. Secondly, we'll be talking about the myth of the charismatic leader, where basically plagiarizing here. Here we have like the culture of personality, also known as like 100 years later, like apparently. And then our third and final part here is based on the chapter When Collaboration Kills Creativity, the rise of the new groupthink and the power of working alone. Okay, so yeah, it's already obvious that we're talking about introverts already, and now let's just keep going with that. Firstly, let's start off with how extroversion became the cultural ideal. Now, most people nowadays, if they think of a leader, they think of a person who's like, yeah, I can say this, so I think that we should do that, I think we should do that, I think we need like a series of videos called the hat tricks, I think we need to make a little, I'm so glad I was able to work on this game-changing game called The Matrix. Now it's time for what people have been wanting for 10 years, The Matrix 4. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it so much. Yeah, it was so darn freaking expensive, but man, we got $1 trillion from it, like those kind of things. And we actually seem to think those kinds of people, the extroverts, as leaders. And to be honest, they're not exactly wrong. Leaders are usually considered to be extroverts. Also, those personality tests saying that you're a leader and an extrovert usually may be a bit wrong. Also, introverts themselves are actually really useful here. In fact, a lot of introverts aren't leaders because they don't prefer to be leaders. They prefer to be like the people in the background doing their own work and doing things. Also, they're usually not the YouTubers because they're like, I don't want my face on YouTube. I don't really want people to know me. I don't really want to share content. I don't want them to know my usernames. Also, you could get famous. I'll try putting blocks on IO, like videos in this channel a year later. Yeah, I have to wait a year. So yeah, let's just keep going anyways. So basically there's this rise of mighty likable fellows and how extroversion became like the cultural ideal. Now, of course, leaders are considered to be extroverts. They talk a lot, they give their ideas, and they're pretty much the ones who share their ideas. However, they're also usually the ones who talk before they think, like, that's stupid, before they can think, oh no, shit, did I say that? Yeah, it's terrible. Anyways, that works out. The introverts, they think before they talk. They think about their impressions and everything. Of course, that works out pretty well. That works out. Next up, we have this. Next up, we also have to talk about how these introverts seems to go ahead and do things. Like, there are these stories where introverts start going in. They're like, there's this lawyer, like law firm, this introvert who started a law firm, which is a terrible thing for an introvert to do. It's like a nightmare. And she actually helps working with a law firm, and she just goes ahead. And then one day, her coworker is all sick, and she's in charge of a company negotiation. And she's like, I can't go on the table. She would rather be underneath said table. However, she does her best, and she basically negotiates. She says her talks, and then she just ignores all the people who just goes ahead and talks and does a bunch of stupid ideas and calls her things and starts on the ones who want to start arguing because she has no idea what else to do. That works out, and everyone starts actually talking to each other. They actually start talking. They have a great conversation, and then a little matter is resolved, and she's like, finally, she goes home and she goes ahead and reads a darn book. Next day, she's given a job offer. We want a law firm to represent us for our next 5 weeks, maybe. We're trying to solve this. Well, we're trying to solve this negotiation deal. I've never seen anything like your. We've never seen anything like your calmness and manner and quietness, while also being able to negotiate something really, really well. A few hours later, the other company who was on the negotiating table said, "We have a job offer for you. We've never seen anything." Like basically said the same thing, and they're like, "Wow. We got 2 job offers." I'm like, yay! I did it. I did not. No, you were sick that day. You were sick that. Yeah, basically, extroverts try to take all the power. Anyways, the last part, I made that part up. Anyways, she got her law firm a pretty big job offer, and then next thing you know, she's in business. All right, next up, the culture personality. Now, the culture personality itself is a pretty interesting one because of how this seems to work out. Now, there's a lot of people who are out there who just think about how these charismatic leaderships start happening. Like, society is in itself an education of an extrovert values. They basically try to teach you how to become talkative, how to get others to know you. Because like if you like try to say maybe we should go ahead and start a company. Nah, that's a stupid idea. We should just go ahead and start a book club. This is a book club. Then we should go ahead and start a company. Yay! But that was my idea. Yeah, no one hears the person. Yeah, those introverts never actually hear anything because they're so small, soft, and extroverts sometimes take advantage of this by taking their ideas because no one's listening to the introvert. Extroverts take the ideas of the extroverts actually take the ideas of the introverts if they're really good, and they just say it as if they did it, like the snitch, the snitch, like you stole my idea. You didn't even say anything. I did. You guys weren't listening. Then speak up. No. Okay. I think we should go ahead and do this. Yeah, no, nah. And then that person keeps getting dismissed. Only then will the extrovert be extra like, I think we should do that. But he said that, and we don't like the idea. But when you say, why does it feel like we should do it? Because it's an awesome idea. Thank you, person who's been stealing my ideas for 5 years. Don't listen to him, guys. Yeah. Alright, that works out. And eventually we actually get a lot of things too. Lots of people are taught to go ahead and become real, like to socialize, to talk to others and do things that they never thought was possible. But the fact is, these people are just ordinary people. They're just people who just are prepared to do the worst and to be prepared for the worst too. And that's pretty much it. And last but not least, today we're also going to just end us off with Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak is an awesome guy. In fact, he's an artist and a really good engineer. If he also says that if you're somehow in those rare times where you're both, then you should go ahead and start yourself into your own introvert journey. You should go ahead, do things you thought were never possible, and then do your thing. And that's awesome. If it's awesome, it's great. And if it's great, it's good. That's exactly why I think that you guys should actually enjoy these videos, because I'm not much of an introvert, and also I spew out a bunch of random nonsense most of the time. The only times I actually don't is when I know what I'm talking about. And most of the time on these videos, I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. Nowadays I actually do, because these kinds of books, I actually read a lot. Also, I'm not a big fan of writing essays. I've been forced to write essays since I was a little kid, and I've hated it. So basically, there's a lot of things that actually go ahead in this. Steve Wozniak basically says, introverts, if you're like really good and you can design something, but then others screw it up, and then work alone. Like, work alone, do your thing, and then give it to others to work it out. To be honest, personally, I actually do these things. To be honest, I actually prefer working alone. If I'm forced into a group mate, like our science, when we were supposed to write, like currently in science class, where we're supposed to write a paper with someone else, my partner basically I basically gave him the topic, I gave him the pros and cons, and he basically wrote them down, and then I realized he basically figured out his own pros and cons, and I realized he forgot that our topic was about space, and he talked about wood burning in space. How is wood supposed to burn in space? There's no air in space. Also radiation, sure, that's a problem, but radiation just directly hitting it won't rot it because there's no maggots, and higher pressure might mean like boiling water would happen, but there's no molecules that actually heat the darn thing up. There's no fire, and so the only molecules are just a few, like very, very few hydrogen atoms in space, and I basically had to rewrite the whole pros and cons and the global factor for him. Also, edited a bunch of grammar mistakes too. So I feel like I actually did most of the work. But that's about it. So hopefully you guys actually did enjoy this episode. I really hope you guys will enjoy this episode later on. I'll see you guys then. Until next time, Schnan out. Peace. Bye-bye. Cereal time!